I'm gonna do a video on Navia. She just came out and she is one of the top 3 nukers in the game. She is extremely powerful and is a good example of what you need to do to make Geo good. She is the prime example of how you can work with a bad reaction by using their internal things and doing a lot. Really good example of well quality game design. She's extremely likable from the story and is going to turn out to be a massive success. While she won't be as good as Farina, who came out beforehand, as Farina is sitting, in my opinion, as the best character in the game currently, mainly because Farina just does everything pretty much. Navia is still going to be considered good. The main issue with her is that she is Geo, so there's a technical limit to what she can do, but what she does is very good. Basic rundown on how to build her: you're going to want to just spam attack, which is great. I would recommend Wolf's Gravestone if you have it, because this thing gives you a stupidly high amount of attack, and she likes attack a lot. Her signature weapon is obviously going to be her best in slot. It's going to be the Battle Axe. Other than that, you can run a couple things. Serpent's Bind is going to be pretty good. You could probably get away with Red Horn as a stat stick, because the normal attack increase, I would not recommend it. Prototype Archaic, if you're trying to be free to play, will be a pretty good option as well. And if you're going for cosmetic, there's some other options here. You could probably do portable if you really want her. She's just super strong no matter what you do. Again, I would say Wolves is probably the most common option most people run, but again, her signature weapon is extremely good. Artifacts, her best in slot is going to be the best. It just came out, so I actually don't have it farmed up yet, but it will be a fantastic option and will be her best. It is going to be this set right here, which 2-piece gives you attack 18%, and then the 4-piece gives you a large amount of elemental skill with giving you 20% geo damage bonus, and also just gives you a massive increase to that. So you just get a ton of geo basically, which is really good. And then from there, also it's pretty resonant efficient if you get her, because then you get Songs of Day Past. Pretty much this makes any character have like a Bennett level of damage, which is super good, because it increases it by total healing amount whenever you fucking breathe on them, which is insanely good, pretty much. This does not buff your actual reactions for things like a Hyper Bloom team, but every other team is boosted, so your Jean will love this, your Baiju will love this, your Kokomi will love this. There's a bunch of characters that really value this set, and maybe even some very niche Farina builds that I do not recommend. You can potentially run it, but those do potentially exist. So, how do you actually play Navia? Well, you get bullets from hitting things. So when you hit things, then you have a gun, and when that gun gets fully maxed out, it actually just becomes a rocket launcher, pretty much. So, if we do a quick test against Magakenki here, we can see some of the damage numbers. And we'll notice that it will disappear pretty fast, pretty much. So pretty much how it works is your Q is just a stream of low damage geo that happens, and when that happens, it's really just there to hit the crystallized reaction. You really want to hit her with another character. The team I'm currently running with, Navia, Farina, Zhongli, and Bennett, is going to be your best team. If you don't have Zhongli, there's some easy switches out there. Farina, really, I would recommend her no matter what, and if you didn't get her, I am very sorry for your loss. You could potentially fill it in with running someone like Yelan, because her damage bonus on this right here is really good, and she actually does normal attack a good bit, so you could potentially get away with her. Potentially Dea with the Wolves if you have that, but I would say that would be niche and not recommended. Just as an option you could splash in there. Really, because it's Geo, there's not too much you can react with. Albedo, I know, is potentially also a really good option instead. And Bennett, I would recommend on this just because the attack steroid is very good. You could potentially get away with something like Kokomi, but really I would not recommend that again, and I really do believe this is going to be your best team, but those are all your side options. Pretty much what you do is you go get enough from your first rotation to blast them, and then you normal attack, and your normal attacks will be infused and do a shit ton of damage. And then you basically do the exact same thing and blow up the cannon again, and then you kind of just rinse and repeat that cycle because you'll just get enough. Also, even if you're not on field and the one grabbing it, you will still get your ammo. So that is super good. Here, let's just generate some orbs and get past this first phase really fast here. Here we go. There's 160,000. That should give me a whole bunch of rounds. There we go, and there's 160,000 again. So yeah, it pretty much completely nukes enemies. I have yet to test out an Abyss. This Abyss is really first half for her, and second half is very good for a Nouvelle Farina team. So that does kind of split your stuff. You could also do like a Yellow Jing Cho Hu Tao probably in second half and be pretty good. But sadly, you really do want Friana in that second half for Abyss. So this might not be the most ideal Abyss to test her out in, but yeah, she's just super, super strong. Here's it against one more boss, for example here. Also, the round has infinite target punch through, I noticed, which is super nice. Pretty much, if you shoot one enemy, it does what Nuvolette does, and it'll hit all of them, which is amazing. This means you can nuke multiple enemies super, super easily. Here's it against her map boss that you need to farm really fast, just so you can kind of get a good example of that. Again, I really do think this is turning out to be a good character. Rotations aren't super bad for her, I noticed, which is nice, and I really do appreciate that. It's a lot easier to get up than what I initially would have thought. Oh, I only got one there, and it only was 100,000 with just one of the 3 stacks you're supposed to get. And now I should get 3 here, and now if I hit him, oh, I didn't crit, but that was 71,000 with the no crit. So yeah, super effective, and I would highly recommend this character. Is she a must pull? No. If you're new to the game, she will carry your account. I'm fairly certain of that. And yeah, that's about all there is to it. She is decently, she does like being on field a lot as a hyper carry. So that's like note there. If you're trying to go for like a hyper bloom team, that's not good. She is definitely one of those single target characters. But yeah, I would highly recommend her. She seems great. Try out on the test run. If you like her, definitely get her. I would say you would have fun time, and she's in top 3 best nukes in the game, next to Hu Tao, C2 Raiden, and something like potentially Zhao if you have high plunging attack where you can average like 100, 150,000. But that's aside the point. For just like pure raw nuking damage, she is up there, and I would highly recommend her, because really you get that 150. If you can do it right, you can get them pretty much back to back for a 300k nuke. That's at level 70 and with level 4 talents. Realistically, her maximum damage you should be able to get pretty easily with this should be just around 300,000 and potentially go higher. I know I went to Loose just did a video recently, and he showed 850,000 in his thumbnail, but that was like probably more of a whale team type nuke. Yeah, that's about it.